Hey guys, what's up? It's Heather with the Moss Co. And today I wanted to sit around for a few minutes and talk about 3 tools that I love to use in my garden. And I wanted to start the series and do 3 tools every time. So we live in East Tennessee, we garden in a zone 7B, and I'm all about on this channel trying stuff to see what works for you. This is not a end all be all of how gardening works. I feel like gardening is kind of like any medical profession where you're practicing and learning and doing things different all the time and learning new tricks and learning from each other. So these are just 3 things that have really made my life easier that work for me. They may or may not work for you, but this is that information so you can have it. But on this channel, we like to talk about gardening and we like to talk about what's working for us gardening and not necessarily the way to do things. I'm all about, just because you don't have the perfect setup doesn't mean you shouldn't try. And these are things that help you get there a lot easier. Another thing that I find is really important when you're gardening, I am lazy. Left to my own devices, I would much prefer to just sit in my house and do nothing except for, I love to come out here and garden and work in my garden. But I'm lazy, and I'm like everybody else. It takes me 10 hours to force myself to get out here, and then I'm great once I'm out here. But these are things that make the job easier, and I think I was in my 30s when I learned that you have to have the right tool, because when I was in my 20s, I was like, it's fine. We'll just work harder at it and use the cheaper tool. It'll be fine. And now I'm like, ooh, the right tool makes a big difference. So the first one I want to talk about is augers. Here in East Tennessee, and especially up here in the woods, which I love my yard is set back in the woods. There's a lot of wooded areas. We don't have dirt. We have a bunch of rocks that are held together with clay and roots. That's what I got up here. I am weak. Look at these guns. They're not getting anything done, okay? Augers. Okay, this is a little tiny auger. I use this to plant bulbs because I can stand up. I also use it to make holes for seeds because they're easier to see when it's around. You just barely get it in the ground. And it works really, really well. I also have the twist-in plant from Proven Winners, and I did a video on that when I first got it trying it out. And I will say I put these on a DeWalt cordless drill with a handle, because augers can whip around and hit you if you're not being careful or if you're not steadied yourself. But I could not put things in the ground without these. I've got a twist-in plant that's a little bit bigger, but it's shorter, and then I've got this long one. I would love to have the big, what's it called? Power planter augers on the big old drill, so that I could put big holes in the ground easy. Currently what I do with the twist-in plant is make like 5 holes and then do this number in them, which works. I cannot get a shovel in the ground over here. Like it ain't happening. You're gonna hit a rock. Even with the augers, sometimes it's hard to get into the ground, but at least I can do it. So augers have made a huge, huge, huge difference. If you're skeptical about it, start with that small twist-in plant. Start in a part of your yard that is not quite as intense, and there's videos about how to keep an eye on your safety, but definitely put a handle on your drill. I think that makes a big difference. And don't be too afraid. Have a healthy fear of it, Unlike my fear of snakes and things that startle me, a healthy fear. I will say about the snakes, okay, like I know people are like, but snakes in your garden and you have a vole problem. I got you, I understand. But how can I have this many snakes and have this many voles? Does that mean that I've got like the lazy freeloader snakes? What are they eating? I saw one like last summer chilling on a plant, like on a jalapeno plant, next to a tomato hornworm, which would be the perfect thing for that thing to eat. And he's just chilling. I'm like, eat it. Like I realize I live in the woods, okay? Like I got it. I like the wildlife. I was looking at possums the other day, and we got raccoons, and we got pretty deer and turkeys, but do not eat my garden, like bunnies everywhere. You can gnaw on the grass, we've already determined. And I've talked about this grass before. I don't even think I'm gonna do anything about it. I'm fine with it as long as it's cut, I guess. We've got grass, eat the grass. Don't eat my garden. But in any case, twist-in plant auger. I don't know how I got on this tangent. Oh, have a healthy fear of it. But give it a try, because it will make your life easier, especially if you've got the ones where you're standing up and you can just pop holes in the ground and then go back in and plant later. It makes life so much easier. So that's the first of 3 things that make your life easier, augers. And again, you need a cordless drill for these. Power Planter has some, Twist and Plant from Proven Winners, all those things. The next thing is this big guy behind me. This is my Gorilla Cart. Before I had a cart, I thought to myself, I'll just put it all, just carry it all to whatever I'm working on in the garden. Or I'll put it on a 5-gallon bucket. The cart is everything. It really is. If I want to go harvest something, because I might go harvest my garlic, it looks like the bottom 2 leaves are dead, but is that because it didn't get water for a while because the drip wasn't working? Or is that because it's actually ready to harvest? So I'm gonna have to Google that. But in any case, if I want to go harvest it, I can bring it all up with these big old tires that Jason just put, I think he put air in these for me. And you just load it with all the things, carry it to wherever you are, use it and put it back. Like when I'm planting in the spring and I've got augers and biotone, and that would be like 10 trips back and forth to the garage. And while my garden is not too far from my garage, again, I am lazy. And if I get done or if it starts raining, I can throw it all in there and run it inside. Like it's super, super helpful. Specifically the Gorilla Cart, because you can dump it. It's got a really cool turn radius on it. When I go to do my fertilizing of my annuals, I put 4 or 5 watering cans in the back of it, fill it with fertilizer, and then just walk through my yard with it, so I'm not having to make a whole bunch of trips back and forth. Sorry about the sunglasses, guys, but you do know that I'm secretly a vampire, but I'm an introverted vampire, and I'm growing garlic to keep my friends away. Is that a really horrifically bad joke? Y'all there's 2 plants you need in your garden, and it's Super Tunia Vista Jazzberry with a Primal Scream Daylily. Like, I cannot get over how good it looks. But in any case, Gorilla Cart makes life so much easier. This really big one, I can put a ton of stuff in it. It's always full of stuff. I'm always having to change it out in the garage, but Gorilla Cart. 5-gallon buckets alone will not get it done. To be able to roll it around, even if you had a smaller garden, you'd get a smaller one, but get a cart. You put the plants in there and you just roll around and go plant the plants. It's money. Gorilla Cart. The last thing that I wanted to talk about in this video, and I actually just made a video about this, I had to make that video twice because the first time the footage was just gone for no reason, just gone. Where did it go? Anybody know? Gone. I was really unhappy about that, but I redid it. But it's gonna be my weed blowtorch, which is sitting over there on the ground. And again, I made a video about it, so I will link it down below. But I have gravel on either side of my driveway. And a big part of gardening is maintenance and making things look tidy. And it's very difficult to weed gravel, okay? I have little baby fingers. They're very not tough, okay? I wear gloves. They're not tough. And so when I try to pull, for years, like I hand pulled the weeds in the gravel and it took me forever. Whereas with my weed blowtorch, again, if it saves you energy, if it saves you time, it will be worth it. They're around $100, but you just blowtorch it. And to be fair, who wouldn't want to burn their weeds? Okay, maybe some people get sensitive about burning weeds. I don't know who that is, but I'm sure there's somebody out there. I don't. I would like them to be gone. Is that a fly or a bee? What are you? And could you get out of here? Can you hear that on the mic? I am not afraid of things that sting you. My husband, I wouldn't say he's afraid, but he does not want to be stung, okay? And so we have been like painting our house before and had like rented a lift, and he is up like 30 feet in the air swatting, and I'm like, what is wrong with you, man? Which reminds me, that was like 3 years ago, so next year we're gonna have to paint the house again. There's a bird's nest up there too. That's the other thing about painting the house is you don't want to disturb the birds. That's a whole nother issue. But in any case, weed blowtorch. So you can go through and blowtorch like I cut out a flower bed on the other side of my walkway for my front porch because I'm going to do, you know, symmetrical flower beds with hydrangeas in them. I love things that scream south to me, and hydrangeas scream the south to me. I realize that they grow everywhere, but I like them. And so I can just go through there and blowtorch it through. I don't have to worry about like actually digging up all that crap. To be fair, there's no grass growing there because it's so shaded, but I love my weed blowtorch. It is really, really fun, and it is a really quick way. Eventually we are going to put the garden down the hill, or that is the hope in the plan. And so when we go to do that, when I'm always hearing wildlife and getting distracted. One of these days we should count the number of times that I get distracted when I'm doing a video where I'm just talking. But when we put it down there, I think I'm going to put maybe wood chips between the rows or maybe mulch. Something between the rows to suppress weeds, but I'm also going to make sure it's something, I don't want to do straw again like I did in my back production garden. I love the way the straw work looks. It's very romantic looking to me, but it does not suppress the weeds, and it grows as straw, which is a weed. So I'm constantly back there just nailing it. So I'm not going to do that again. So yeah, that's the story on that. But yeah, when I'm down there, that way I can, I'm just talking and rambling. This is going to be hard to edit together. When we put the production garden down there, I'm going to make sure that I can weed blowtorch between it, because that is far and away the easiest way to get rid of weeds. It's super quick. It's, you know, you're not spraying anything, so you feel good about that. So I really enjoy that about the weed blowtorch. Again, you have to, it's fire, so you have to be careful with it. But if you get used to it and you use it appropriately, it really gets rid of the weeds for you in hard to get rid of places. Again, you don't want to go through your flower beds and just, you know, the daylilies, you know what I'm saying? Like, that wouldn't work. But weed blowtorch, love it. So that's these three things that I want to talk about, tools that I use that make gardening easier for me because I am lazy. True story. So we've got our Gorilla Cart, our weed blowtorch, and augers. Need more augers. So anyhow, comment below the things that you most have to have. I've got another video that I'm going to do about this, about 3 more things that I love that make my life easier. And thank you guys so much for watching this one, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.